Let's start the review. I just want to say out of all the episodes, this one might be my favorite because of what it did. The title of episode 8 is Inherited Will, and that's literally what happened throughout this episode. Shizu's backstory not only introduced other characters, future plots, and gave our main character a reason to leave his village, she also introduced some future enemies based on the intro. And you know what else is really good about this episode, to step off of Shizu? At the end, they introduced the people I'm predicting to be the orcs that will join from the intro. Now to hop back on Shizu, she died. Rest in peace to her. I didn't expect her to die like that. I kept suggesting through each video that somehow Rimuru was going to take a piece of hair or a piece of her, or because he absorbed Ifrit from her body, they can transform into her. I did not expect them to say, hey, she's gonna die, and instead of a burial in the world, she wants to be buried inside of Rimuru to rest in peace. I didn't expect that. Like, you know what I mean? I thought that was pretty dark. I remember I said that in, I'll say the first or second video, to say he's gonna eat her for some reason, but I thought he would eat her just like he ate Veldora. Well, Veldora is alive, Ifrit is alive. I thought she would be alive. I didn't think she would actually die. You know, I can't lie, at the beginning I thought for some reason there'd be like a corpse, which would be kind of nasty, but that's kind of what happened when you think about it. But he basically ate a corpse, and now he finally can turn into this human form, you know? People actually took that relatively well. I didn't expect the orc and wolf to really be like, oh, that's kind of weird, but they were just like, I know my master, he's been doing that to us, so I guess that makes sense for monsters. But the people, they were just like, dang, you did it? They were relatively cool with it. Maybe because they're quote-unquote dumb adventurers. I don't want to call them dumb, but they're kind of like, I like the word laid back adventurers. They reacted to it pretty well, and they were just kind of like, if Shizu wanted it, that's fine with us. I'm glad that we finally got an established human form for Rimuru, so that was actually nice. Another thing is, let's talk about Shizu's backstory. So Shizu's backstory clarified some things for me. I know it was kind of mentioned in the comment section before. I originally thought somehow Shizu was tied with the hero. This still may be true, I'm gonna get to it. But in her backstory, you know, the Demon Lord had left the castle one time, and she was the last person on defense to defend the castle. And for many, many years, she was serving as the Demon Lord's servant. You know, she could be controlled by him, she had to work by him. She didn't really have a choice. And the hero actually stepped up. And what's funny about this hero, I want to just say right now, is originally the reason why I thought that the hero originally was Shizu, or they're tied or related, because they have the same color hair. Like, that's too coincidental. The only difference I didn't pick up between Shizu and that character from the intro is that the hero had her hair tied up. So that's the only major difference. But I think that's her mom. I just want to say that the hero and Shizu's mom have the same hair. I'm like, that's too coincidental. You know, when they fought and she hugged her and all that other stuff and let her train under her, Shizu felt emotion, was crying. I'm like, I think hands down that had to be her mom. If she got summoned into the real world, her mom could have got summoned into the real world. That's my first theory. Second theory is maybe they're somehow related, like that could be a grandmother, that could be an ancestor. Because let's talk about summons real quick. I'm using my knowledge on this series, even though I don't watch this series pretty heavily. But if anybody knows the Fate Zero series or Fate Stay series, it has a name. It has a lot of different fates. And they summon, someone will correct me on this, and they summon a knight class. I believe Claire was a knight. She had Excalibur. And I believe in another Fate series, they were like related, like that was either her father or son or whatever. Like somehow each character does look like each other. You know what I mean? If you summon an archer class, I'm not saying all archers have to be related, but they have archer qualities, right? So if you summon a hero class to a world, because I believe the hero is a summon, Veldora said the hero was a summon, Shizu's a summon, then they're gonna have those same type of aspects, you know? So hero summon, or whatever Shizu's is, will be a female girl, ideally black hair, and they'll be able to wield a sword. Maybe it's coincidental, maybe it's a stretch, but I was thinking like maybe that's why they're similar, or maybe that's why they're related, or it could be coincidence, but we'll have to see as we go on. But I know they gotta be tied somehow. Alright, so going a bit further on Shizu, we find out that she was not only trying to get revenge, or not, I don't even want to say revenge, let me fix that. That she's not only trying to find the Demon Lord, but she's also looking for the hero. She trained under the hero for years and years on end, and somehow the heroes disappeared and said we'll meet again. So, questions about the hero. Did the hero say we'll meet again as a coincidental type thing, saying, you know, like as you travel, you'll meet me in some sense? Maybe foreshadowing that somehow Rimuru might eat the hero? I highly doubt that one. 2, did the hero say we'll meet again in the sense that, you know, when we both die, we'll meet again somehow, some way, just like Shizu seeing her mother, which I predict the hero was the mother, like in the afterlife? Or 3, was it just kind of a, we'll see each other again. I got things to do. You know, you wanted the world to find your own purpose, but Shizu died. You know, like the fact that they highlighted that we'll meet again made me say like, okay, you know, Shizu's dead, so is the hero gonna come and find Rimuru in Shizu's form and they battle and that counts as meeting? Like, I just want to know why they did that. Maybe no reason, maybe I'm looking deep, but I'm saying we're going to see this hero somehow, some way. If she's lived 300 plus years, we're going to see her again. And when we do, Rimuru is going to be in human form like Shizu. So that's going to be an interesting conversation, especially if Rimuru looks like Shizu. Another thing that they set up by Shizu's backstory. Shizu actually was a teacher of kids from another world. I love this fact because that not only reintroduced the idea that Rimuru and Shizu aren't people from the other world, that this is a common reoccurrence. Now, Veldora said that, but until we met Shizu, it really was like, okay, it's just Rimuru and it's just Shizu from another world. And they're both coincidentally from Japan at different times, right? So the thing is, now that we've introduced a whole set of kids, and one of them became a grandmaster, and one of them was heavily foreshadowed because he's leaving, and he looks like the guy from the intro. Check the intro if you want. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. I love that factor, because like everybody from the different worlds so far, really just Shizu and Rimuru have some type of power. You know, Veldora mentioned it, that they're unique monsters or unique people. So I'm interested to see how they're going to conflict with Rimuru. My prediction for it, honestly, is like, yo, Rimuru looks just like Shizu. It's obvious. And if he gets questioned about it, he's probably going to mention that, yeah, I ate Shizu. You know what I mean? So think about it. If your teacher is like dead and you find out a monster can take form of its body after eating, you're going to kill that monster. You're going to be like, yo, you probably killed it. You're lying to me. You're just a monster. We've already seen how monsters have been looked down upon in the Dwarven or Dwarven City. So that's why I really feel like they're going to have a conflict with Rimuru, and Rimuru being a monster leader through their eyes. You know, he has orcs, dwarves, they got equipment, they make weapons, they made armor for the adventurers that was high class, made by Kaijin. And once we get these other people added on from the intro, which I'm assuming are the orcs, which were heavily foreshadowed at the end, this is going to be very interesting. I'm waiting for this clash. And the last thing about Shizu is her story on finding the Demon Lord. So the Demon Lord did control her, and the Demon Lord did actually, you know, make her do a bidding and kill the girl, I believe, Pimaru. I probably pronounced the name wrong. Kill a friend, which is pretty cold. But it was funny to me, and I kind of predicted this a bit in the last review, that she didn't necessarily want revenge. I felt that. I was like, I feel like she doesn't want it. I feel like she just wanted to see him and ask him whatever. You know what I mean? So actually what she said is that her goal on finding the Demon Lord is, did he acknowledge her as human? Or did he, I assume, did he just look at her like, you're just a summon, you're trash, you're to do my bidding? You know? I don't know why she would want it per se, but I just felt like she wasn't as cold-hearted for revenge, or, you know, so gung-ho on that. You know what I mean? Another thing is, she wanted to know if the kids could be returned to their world. Can you de-summon people that have been summoned into this world? If so, I mean, I wonder if we do somehow find out we can't summon them back, would they actually want to go back? Do you think Rimuru wants to go back to the human world? Do you think that the person that has established himself as Grandmaster, being one of those kids, wants to go back? I doubt it, but her heart was in the right place, because I bet once they got summoned there, her being the teacher and them being kids, they could have been like, I want to go back home to my parents, you know, I want to go back to my family and friends, you know. They've been brought into this mysterious world as children. Even Shizu was brought that way, so I can see why she wanted to go back and see her mother. Now Rimuru, he was reincarnated, but he was like 38 years old, so I don't really see him being like, I'm so excited to go back. He got a human form, he has powers, he's in a video game per se in his mind, you know, with his smooth set. So that's actually a commendable goal for her to do. She's like, yo, as a person who summoned me, is there a way to take him back? That was nice, but now that's Rimuru's job to actually discover, find out, and to meet the Demon Lord. I think Rimuru wants to go throw him the hands, because he was like, yo, you made Shizu cry. Like, he probably doesn't have any sympathy for them. We'll see. What do you think Rimuru is going to want to do? And the last bit of things that I need to comment on is the orcs. I knew they were orcs mainly because they had a horn, and I can't wait to see him actually interact with them. But that wasn't shown in this episode. All that was shown at the end was this weird scene where this monster was going through like the desert. He died, he's like this pig thing, and he falls out. Then a guy comes up to him and was like, I'll give you food and a name. You know, he's like, who are you? I'm Gelman. You can think of me as your father. And he gives him a name, and he says, you're going to be known as the Orc Disaster. So basically, he's going to bring some disaster to the orcs, whether this be something that happened next episode or destruction that happened in the past. I'm predicting this is happening right now. And as Rimuru travels or does whatever he does next to find information, then he's going to save the orcs, and the orcs will join the faction at his goal. So speaking of Rimuru, the reason why I love episode 8, I may have touched on it a bit, I don't remember, but I'll say it again. The reason why I love this episode is not only do we get more explanation on this world of Shizu, we get introduction to new characters being the enemies that Rimuru is going to fight under Shizu's form, and we get the fact that we have a goal now. Like, what was Rimuru's goal before this episode? All it was so far was to take care of the orcs, take care of the dwarves, take care of the wolves, build a village, and just kind of mind our own business. Now it's like, alright, Shizu wants me to go out and find this demon lord. We don't know anything beyond the monsters right now in this place. We're going to have to go to another city. We're going to have to talk to humans. Now we can talk to humans because he has a human form. He has to go find out more about this world. Who is this demon lord? Do people know him? Like, it's a lot of ways he can go and a lot of things he doesn't know. Because, like, beyond the 3 adventurers that he's interacted with that kind of know the world, these monsters, they just kind of were nameless monsters wandering by. They might know a little bit, just like Gopta knew about Dwargo, but he wasn't really welcomed in the city before. So we got to interact with some more humans on top of being a monster faction, and we got to deal with whoever else we see along the way, which I'm assuming is going to be the orcs. I feel like that. So I feel like these past 8 episodes established everything important for the series. The powers, the pivotal characters, and now we have a grandiose goal of finding the demon lord, traveling the world, finding this information, and fighting whoever else is in our way. So this episode, all in all, was really great. I liked it. You know, it was more backstory, explaining what's going on, and a lot of setup. But now I feel like where we're going next, beyond the orcs, you know, somehow recruiting them, or maybe they're going to be plot heavy in regards to humans too. I doubt it, but we'll see. But like, now we kind of got the base. We got a faction, armor, weapons. We got everything we need, and now we can venture out beyond the forest to somewhere else. So let me know what you think about this episode, anything you agree or disagree with me on this. And yeah, I love to hear your feedback. I've really been loving this series so far. But yo, with that being said, yo, y'all have a good evening. Thanks for watching another video in the database. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. And yo, you all have a great evening. Good night, guys.
Do